An unsuspecting beachcomber pockets a seemingly mundane pebble. Decades pass before its true nature comes to light, forever altering the course of his life. 10-year-old Cy Dunn combed the beach south of Whitby one Saturday morning, his eager eyes scanning the sand for treasure. Hours passed fruitlessly until, just as he was about to leave, his fingers grazed something unusual. Among countless ordinary pebbles lay a rock unlike any he'd seen, larger than his fist, oddly textured, and surprisingly heavy. Though unremarkable in color or sparkle, something about the stone captivated Cy. He pocketed it, its weight a comforting presence against his leg as he headed home. Near the beach exit, an older man with a bag full of stones fell into step beside him. Noticing Cy's disappointment, he offered to trade a shimmering pearlescent pebble for the boy's find. Cy hesitated, feeling an inexplicable connection to his rough stone. "I think I'll keep this one," Cy decided, surprising himself. The man smiled knowingly. "Sometimes the most ordinary-looking things hold the greatest surprises," he said before departing. That night, Cy placed the rock on his bedside table. As he drifted to sleep, his dreams filled with ancient seas and mysterious creatures, hinting at the secrets Earth might be hiding in plain sight. A nondescript pebble found on Whitby Beach sparked an extraordinary journey for Cy. His childhood curiosity about the stone blossomed into a lifelong passion for geology. He devoured books on rock formations, tectonic plates, and prehistoric life, his mind always racing with questions about the Earth's history. Cy's academic pursuits were driven by his unwavering dedication to geology. He excelled in earth science courses, spending summers on dig sites and in museums, his hands constantly dirty, his mind constantly engaged. The Whitby pebble, a silent motivator on his desk, fueled his determination to uncover the Earth's secrets. His hard work paid off with admission to a prestigious paleontology PhD program. Cy immersed himself in his studies, examining fossils and analyzing geological data late into the night. His thesis on the North Sea's prehistoric marine ecosystems garnered recognition from leading scientists. With his doctorate in hand, Cy embarked on a global adventure, exploring the Earth's diverse landscapes. He searched for dinosaur bones in the scorching deserts of Arizona and studied ancient glaciers in the icy expanse of Antarctica. Each expedition brought new challenges and discoveries, but Cy's insatiable curiosity remained constant. Throughout his travels, the Whitby pebble remained a constant companion, a tangible reminder of his humble beginnings. It sat on his nightstand in countless hotel rooms, a source of comfort and inspiration. At 45, Cy returned to Whitby as the lead researcher at the town's new geological research center. He settled near the beach with his wife, Lena, a fellow geologist, and their children. Their shared love of Earth's history turned family vacations into impromptu field trips. Although his children might feign boredom at times, Cy's infectious enthusiasm for geology was impossible to ignore. From the outside, Cy's life seemed perfect. Yet despite his accomplishments, a gnawing sense of unfulfillment plagued him. He longed for a groundbreaking discovery that would etch his name in the annals of paleontology. As he sat in his office, surrounded by academic accolades, the weight of unfulfilled ambition pressed heavily on his shoulders. He'd taken a few days off work, hoping to reignite his passion. Instead, he found himself staring at the same four walls, his mind a whirlwind of self-doubt and frustration. The sound of laughter drifted through the open window, a stark contrast to Cy's somber mood. He smiled faintly, remembering the days when a simple rock could fill him with wonder. Now even the rarest specimens in his lab failed to stir that same excitement. As he sat there, lost in his thoughts, a loud bang shattered his contemplation. The ceiling shook, sending a fine dusting of plaster onto his desk. The laughter and chatter that had filled the air moments ago had vanished, replaced by an eerie silence. Cy glanced out the window. The backyard was empty. A knot of worry formed in his stomach. Where were the kids? Rising from his chair, he moved swiftly to the hallway. He tilted his head, straining to hear any sound from above. Nothing. The silence was unnerving. With a mixture of concern and curiosity, Cy approached the attic stairs. Each step creaked under his weight, the sound amplified in the quiet house. As he reached the top, he noticed the attic door was slightly ajar. The scene that greeted him made his heart skip a beat. His prized stone collection, carefully curated over decades of expeditions, lay scattered across the wooden floor. The box that once housed them sat overturned in the corner, its lid hanging limply from one hinge. In the center of the chaos stood Emma and Jack, flanked by their friends. Their faces were a mixture of shock, guilt, and fear as they stared at Sai, frozen in place like statues. The silence was deafening. The anger dissipated from Sai's face as he surveyed the scattered rocks. Each held a memory, a fragment of his past. Kneeling beside the children, his frustration gave way to an unexpected surge of nostalgia. "Don't worry," he said softly, noting their fearful expressions. "We'll sort this out together." As they began collecting the stones, Sai reminisced about the expeditions where he'd acquired each one. He lifted a smooth, white-streaked black stone. "This one's from Iceland," he explained, showing it to the children. "The white lines are quartz, formed by rapidly cooling lava." Their fear transformed into intrigue. They eagerly gathered stones, questioning Sai about their origins. He recounted tales of the red Arizona sandstone, the glittering Brazilian geode, and even a Siberian meteorite fragment. As Sai spoke, he felt a familiar excitement stirring within him. The passion that had driven him for years, recently dimmed by frustration, began to rekindle. He saw his own childhood wonder reflected in the children's eyes, reminding him why he'd first fallen in love with geology. His fingers brushed something familiar. Sai's breath hitched as he recognized the Whitby stone's rough texture. He picked it up, ready to share its story, when he noticed a thin crack along its surface, likely from the fall. Sai's pulse quickened. He'd carried this rock for 35 years, never daring to break it open. Now fate had intervened. With shaking hands, he carefully worked his fingers into the crack. "What are you doing, Dad?" Emma asked worriedly. Sai didn't respond, focused on gently applying pressure to the stone. Suddenly, it yielded. The rock split cleanly, revealing its hidden interior. Time seemed to stand still as Sai stared at the contents, his mind struggling to comprehend the sight. Inside the unassuming stone lay a cluster of fossils, their spiral shells gleaming in the dim attic light. But these weren't ordinary fossils. "Kids," Sai whispered in awe, "look at this." The children gathered around, their eyes widening as they peered into the broken stone. Sai's scientific mind raced to analyze the discovery. "These are ammonites," he explained, his voice growing excited. "Fossils of ancient sea creatures. But these are unique." Years of knowledge flooded Sai's thoughts. The fossil's size, shape, and preservation were all extraordinary. "I've never encountered ammonites like these," he said breathlessly. "They're Jurassic, but this species, it's unknown. And finding them in a Whitby rock, it's unprecedented." As the weight of the discovery sank in, the implications began to dawn on Sai. This wasn't just a new species. It was a paleontological anomaly that could redefine the understanding of prehistoric marine life in this region. Jack reached out, lightly touching one of the spiral fossils. "So, you're saying we've uncovered something no one's ever seen before?" Sai nodded, a broad grin spreading across his face. "Exactly. This little rock I picked up as a kid. It's been keeping this secret all along." The enormity of the discovery hit Sai like a wave. Joy at the find, astonishment at the unexpected turn of events, and a profound sense of fulfillment surged through him. The dream he'd chased throughout his career had, unknowingly, been in his hands the whole time. "Do you realize what this means, kids?" Sai asked, looking at their wide-eyed expressions. "We're going to need a bigger lab. There's a lot of work ahead." In that dusty attic, surrounded by scattered stones and curious children, Sai knew his life had been irrevocably altered. The Whitby stone had shaped his career, and now it had given him the discovery of a lifetime. As he cradled the two halves of the rock, Sai realized that the greatest discoveries often come when we least expect them, hidden in plain sight. News of Sai's breakthrough spread rapidly through the scientific community. His phone buzzed constantly with calls and messages from colleagues around the globe, all eager to examine the fossils and be part of what was quickly becoming the paleontological event of the decade. It was soon determined that the fossils were from a sea creature that lived between 240 and 65 million years ago, wiped out alongside the dinosaurs. Sai was soon at the center of a whirlwind of attention. Universities requested lectures, scientific journals clamored for papers, and documentary producers pitched ideas. The quiet, introspective life he'd led was swept away by a frenzy of interviews, presentations, and constant questions. In the midst of the chaos, museums began making offers, staggering sums of money that would not only fund his research for years to come, but also secure his family's future. Each offer was more tempting than the last, promising not only financial stability but also a place in history for his groundbreaking discovery. As the offers grew larger, Sai found himself increasingly reluctant to let go of the fossils. They had become more than just scientific artifacts. They were a physical connection to his past, a symbol of the journey that had shaped his life. Weeks after the discovery, Sai stood on the familiar shores of Whitby Beach, the very place where, as a curious boy, he had picked up the ordinary-looking rock that would change his life. Lena stood beside him, her hand warm in his, quietly supporting him. The beach was serene, long past tourist season, with only the sound of waves crashing and gulls calling to break the silence. Sai took a deep breath, the salty air filling his lungs, grounding him in the moment. "You know," Sai began, breaking the peaceful quiet, "I could sell the fossils. The offers are beyond anything I ever imagined. We'd be set for life." Lena squeezed his hand, sensing the weight of his thoughts. "But?" she gently asked, knowing there was more. Sai smiled, grateful for her understanding. "But I think I'll keep them. They mean more to me than any amount of money. This discovery isn't just about the fossils. It's about the journey, the years of searching, the doubts, the perseverance. It's about that day 35 years ago when a young boy picked up a rock and unknowingly found his calling." He paused, gazing out over the horizon where the North Sea met the sky. The setting sun bathed the landscape in warm golds and oranges, casting long shadows across the sand. "These fossils," Sai continued, "they're a reminder that sometimes the most extraordinary things come from the most ordinary places, that patience and persistence can lead to incredible rewards, and that life still has the power to surprise you, even after 35 years. Lena nodded, understanding the depth of his reflection. "So, what's next?" she asked softly. Sai's eyes brightened with a renewed spark. "Research. Lots of it. These fossils could change everything we know about Jurassic marine life in this region. There's so much left to learn, so many questions to answer. And who knows, there might be more secrets hidden in the rocks along this beach." What had started with a young boy's curiosity, picking up a stone on a quiet beach, had led to a discovery that would shape his legacy. More importantly, it had reignited his passion for the field he had dedicated his life to, reminding him why he had chosen this path in the first place. The beach lay still behind him, its mysteries buried beneath sand and sea, but for Sai, it would forever be the place where his greatest adventure began. Have you ever stumbled upon something seemingly ordinary that turned out to be extraordinary? Share your stories and let us know how unexpected treasures can surprise us. Subscribe for more incredible scientific revelations.